Hello again everyone and welcome back to Planet Zoo. I'm McSnazzi and we're back again today in Timber Gorge. Today we're going to be adding the second animal into the park, and as you can tell probably by the thumbnail and the title of the video that the second animal will be the red panda. Now I had this idea of where I kind of want to move the park towards, and this bridge that we're across here and this sort of peninsula that we're building on right now, I kind of want to make this the Asian animal area. And I was thinking, we'd start with red pandas, we could put in giant pandas. I really like the snow monkeys, or the cocks, or whatever they're called in the game. I think they would go great in this area. And that's sort of my plan for now. I think we'll separate the certain continents of animals, the Asian animals in one area, the African animals in another, North America, and then so forth. Just because I think that's how a lot of regular realistic parks set it up, and I just think it's a nice way to do it in general. So we're just going to do it like that. So this will be the start of the Asian animal area with the red pandas. The first thing you're seeing us do here, since I cut out most of the initial habitat outlining because it's going to change. I made it way too big. I didn't realize how small the red panda was. They're actually super tiny. They're like the size of a cat, but I thought they were a bit bigger. I have seen them in real life. I guess I just didn't remember how small they were. But I made this habitat way too big, way too big. But we're going to start with this sign, just a little rock, put a little outline to those metal signs. I think it looks super nice, and I like the little sculptures of red pandas they have. So I think that turned out really well too. We're just going to add a little foliage work around it. And I think it turned out great. I really like these statues of the little red pandas. And I'll let it play for a bit, and I'll jump back in when we're onto something different. And now we've plopped the first red panda into the habitat, and I actually see how small it really is, and I want to check all its vitals. You can get a lot of information by dropping the animal in before you finish the habitat to know what they like, how much space they need, what kind of foliage and how much foliage cover they want. So on this side of the habitat, I'm going to put a nice little rock wall, just large enough that they can't get over it, and that it looks like a natural wall. Instead of using a bunch of barriers along the sides, I really like using natural walls with rocks or foliage in front of the barriers. It just makes the habitat look a lot nicer and natural. The animals probably like it too. For more exhibits going further in this series, I think I'm getting more of the first one, and here on the second one, and I've built more off camera in different zoos when I've been practicing. But I think the way to do it is to not have too many angles of viewing for the guests. The real way, or the most efficient way to do it, is have maybe 2 to 3 angles of viewing, so that you're really making sure the guests will congregate in one spot instead of around the whole entire thing, because that can just get really messy. And then you don't have a lot of space to put foliage along the walls. You need some privacy areas for the animals, or they'll get stressed if they're just seen all the time, and that's a part of their welfare. But you can also put shelters and etc. in those little places, and it looks a lot more realistic if you just have a few viewpoints the guests can actually see the animals, because if they have too many, they crowd everywhere, and then they'll complain, oh, I don't get a good view from here, because that's something the guests say, etc. So here we're gonna sort of move into this shelter, which completely gets scrapped because it was just way too big when I finished it. So I ended up moving more towards, and we'll see when I build it here, but this is us moving the habitat to make it smaller because I realized it was just way. So we're gonna size it down. We're gonna make it look a lot nicer, and this is me sort of doing that. We're still gonna have that raised path along that side. I like the idea of doing this raised path because I think I'm gonna put another exhibit on the other side of this raised path, so that when you're on top of this raised path right here, you can look at both exhibits, and I think that's gonna look really cool. And I tinkered a little with trying to make it a little bigger, but it didn't really fit along the sides. So I think a 6-width path is good enough to see both sides. And we'll see in the future if we have to make it bigger, if we add the second exhibit on the other side of that path, which I think I want to do giant pandas over there, but I might do the snow monkeys or the macaques or whatever they're called. But here we're gonna build a lot smaller shelter. I was fiddling around with the stone sort of structure a second ago, but it just didn't turn out well. It turned out way too big, and it just didn't look right. And I'm trying to stay away from making too many of the shelters made out of just rocks, which I'm gonna end up doing here, because this is kind of what I end up doing. When I was playing the beta, I made almost every shelter out of rocks because it looks great. You know, it's super cool, but at the end of the day, I don't know if it's super practical or, you know, that great if I make every single one of these shelters out of rocks, because I think then it'll get a little repetitive. But I guess that's sort of my style. But at the same time, we're gonna make some actual like buildings for the bigger animals because they need bigger buildings. But for these little red pandas, this tiny cave works perfectly. We put the one-way glass there so the guests can see them while they're sleeping. But it turns out this door doesn't work because the staff can't get through the rocks somehow. It looked like they have more than enough space, like they can walk in and everything, but turns out they couldn't get through the door. So the door will change when we jump into the real-time portion at the end with the glam shots, because it's just functional. I actually had a couple red pandas die on me because they were starving, and I kept trying to get the zookeeper to feed them, but apparently the zookeeper couldn't get in, so we had to move it. It's fine. I liked it over here, but it looks fine where it is now, and I'm just happy that it's functional, so we don't have to keep replacing the red pandas over and over again if they're starving. So here we're gonna start moving into some habitat building. Now, red pandas love some climbable area. It's one of their requirements, so this is sort of my first attempt at building climbable areas in this game. In the beta, I really didn't have any animals that I made that were climbers, so I'm not really sure how to do it. This is my first attempt. I think it turned out alright. We'll get better in the future though. I ended up using one or two of the prefabbed ones, but they looked really nice and they fit. It just works in the end, and the red pandas climb a lot of these trees anyway, so they don't really care all that much about the climbing structures, but it's good to have them in because it is a requirement for them. So here I'm going to do a lot of foliage work in here. Red pandas love lots of coverage, and I like doing a lot of foliage work in general anyway. So when the animal likes it a lot, it's going to really encourage me to do even more foliage work than usual. Make it really dense, make it look super pretty, and foliage in this game just looks great, man. They really knocked it out of the park. I don't know if I've said this already, but man, all the foliage looks great. Every one of these textures on these plants is fantastic. It's just awesome. We have so much great variation, and you can do tons of stuff with it, and I really love it. And it works really well with the style that we're going for, as I mentioned in the last video. Super wooded, super forest, nice and dark colors, and a lot of like little ferns, these nettles or whatever they're called. You know, these dead trees. Everything just looks super natural, super dense, super wooded. It's just great. And the game really sets us up for success in that sort of terms because the nature just looks so good in this. So I am just going to go through here doing a lot of foliage work, and I'll jump back in when we start doing something that's worth talking about. Here we are, we're doing a lot of foliage work, and I just wanted to jump back in and say a few things before we head into the real-time portion of the video where we do a little bit of the glam shots. One of the things I really wish we could add is a few more red pandas, because apparently they really only like 2 adults. And they're so small in this big space that I wish I could put like 5 in here and it would just be awesome, but you know, they're super cute. I want them to be happy. It's all about the animal welfare at the end of the day and making things look great, and I think the habitat looks great, the animals are happy. That's all I really care about. The guests can see it, the guests think it's great. It's now the most appealing attraction, well, not attraction, most appealing habitat at the zoo if I go into the zoo summary now. I already beat the flamingos out in about the hour when I put them in there, so that's something. So the final sort of touch onto this exhibit is this Asian style sort of fence that I'm going to put along the rocks here, just to make sure no guests, you know, try to peer over the rocks. Sort of just a polite fence, more of a realistic thing. It doesn't really, I mean, it looks alright, but it's nothing that's super cool. I didn't want to take the time to build a custom fence here and make it out of rocks, because it would have been too much rocks. You know, I love my rock work, but it would have been a little too many rocks for this area. Here we go. We're gonna put in a few educational signs, I believe I show here. We're gonna look at the red pandas a little bit because I like that. But yeah, a few educational signs. This is sort of the last touch before we jump into real time, so I'll talk a little bit about that. I think I like the process of maybe running around in first person at the end of every video to sort of get the glam shots, because I think you can see it a lot better than me just recording a few glam shots and talking over it. I think the real-time portion of last episode went really well, and you can sort of do me justice and tell me in the comments if it did work well or didn't. If you prefer to see real-time at the end of every video, like a first-person walk around the zoo, or if you just prefer for me to do just those glam shots where I, you know, record a little bit of slow-moving shots. So really let me know. I'm gonna do whatever you guys want to see, because that's what I'm here to do. I don't really care either way, but for this one we're gonna do some real time, and it's about to jump into the real time here in a second, so I'll see you guys on the other side. Hello everyone, we're back in real time now, and here's the entrance to the Asian area here. I think it looks really nice. We're gonna go off this way along the river, sort of makes this the peninsula, but here is the sign. I think it looks great. I'm really happy with it, and it really hits you on this path here, and we're gonna head this way now, and there is the door to the exhibit that we've changed from the other side now. It's a lot more functional over here. I like it better in the other spot, but it happens. Here we're gonna put something in the future, maybe a bathroom, because we still don't have a bathroom and guests are complaining about it, but not sure. I'll do it off camera, but here we go. Here is the exhibit, and it looks great. Look, there's a red panda down there already, but I'm super happy with the exhibit. This exhibit. The view is fantastic, and we have the nice enrichment items down there, and the pandas play with them, and it's great. I really like how it turned out. We put lots of nice foliage in here, and it was nice building an exhibit where we could get a lot of foliage in, and I think this view right here is great. You can see them just hanging around down there, and this is perfect. So we're doing some real time here at the end of the video. Let me know in the comments section if you like real time at the end, or if you prefer me to just do some screenshots or slow moving shots. It's really up to you guys. Give me any feedback, tips in the comments. There was a comment on the flamingo video that we should use the enrichment waterfall item from Samuel, I believe. I did put that in, Sam. It's over there. We'll look at it some other time. I don't think we look at it right now, but look at the red panda. He's just so cute. Yeah. But yeah, put any building tips, any feedback in the section or the comment section below. I look at every comment. I'll respond and consider it. You know, I really like the help. And look at the sleeping red panda. He just looks great. I love how this looks. The little cave that we built for them, and I put rocks right where that door used to be, so we can't really see it. And here's a little staff area built. I took this from the flamingo exhibit, sort of like a copy and paste, but I think it looks really good, and we're going to extend the staff area along there, so we have a staff area in this area, because we built the staff center all the way on the other side of the zoo, and now we're over here expanding more. So really it's just we need another staff hub over there so the staff isn't running from all the way across the zoo. But here's the climbing structure I built. I like how it turned out in the end. Still my first climbing structure I ever built, but I think it looks alright. And we'll get better at building them in the future. But I really love how this exhibit turned out. I'm happy with everything that we did here, and all this little foliage work we've done along the river as well just looks super great as we get a nice view here. I put those educational things on there, but look at this river. It looks great. I'm really enjoying playing around with nature in this game and all the foliage, making this super dense park that's sort of based in the middle of a forest is a super fun, super, not really challenging. It is challenging to make it look super dense without going too crazy and using the right stuff, but it's challenging and it's great and I love it. And well, thank you. I'm gonna probably leave it off here soon. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. We'll go over here, look at the exhibit while I sort of wrap up here. But thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like that, stay tuned to the channel, like this video, subscribe, leave a comment if you have any feedback or anything to say. I really appreciate anything that you guys have to say and all the support as these red pandas are playing with each other. Alright, I'll leave it there. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.